Who goes there? Oh, it's you. You're that thriller fanatic, aren't you? Let's take a trip down memory lane. Shall we go? This is our first date, the 1920s. This was when Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, made his first ever thriller movie, The Lodger. This was his third ever silent film. He later on developed Blackmail. This was an important movie as it was the first ever British thriller release. But Alfred Hitchcock was not the only director that released movies in the 1920s, as Fritz Lang also released movies, mostly that it was spy thrillers. His most important one was Metropolitan. Here we come to our second date, the 1930s. This is when Fritz Lang created his first ever psychological thriller. Its name was The German Film. He was not the only director that was in the 1930s, as 4 other directors came to light. Walter Ford, Victor Saville, G.A. Cooper, and young Michael Powell. Walter making 9 films, Saville making 7, and both G.A. Cooper and young Michael Powell both making 6, all in the same time frame. Here we come to our next date, the 1940s. Alfred Hitchcock still going strong, releasing 2 movies, Rebecca and The Foreign Correspondent, both winning Oscars. He also released Shadow of Doubt, based on the 1920s serial killer, The Merry Widow. Other directors that released movies in the 1940s were George Kutens. He released his movie Gaslight. This was based on the 1920s detective reports. Come, follow me. Here we come to our next date, the 1950s. This date is when Alfred Hitchcock released 5 movies at the same time. These movies were called Vertigo, Kiss Me Deadly, Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, and Stranger on a Train. Other directors that released movies was Orson Welles, releasing a unique crime thriller called Touch of Evil. Other directors such as Charles Langton releasing The Night of the Hunters and Henry Hathaway releasing Niger. Here we come to our next date, the 1960s.
This is when Michael Powell made his 2 films, Peeping Tom and The Psycho Cameraman. As well as this, Alfred Hitchcock released his best-selling movie, Psycho. Other directors that released in the 1960s were J. Lee Thomason releasing Cape Fear, Stane Doan releasing the stylish thriller Card, Roman Polanski releasing his first ever thriller movie, Repulsion, Martin Ritz releasing the spy thriller, The Spy Who Came From the Cold, Sidney Laurent releasing The Cold Affair, and Terence Young releasing Wait Until the Dark and The Triple Cross.
Here we come to our next date, the 1970s. This was a violent era for the thriller movies. As Steven Spielberg releases his movie Duel, Alfred Hitchcock releases his movie Deliverance. Nicholas Maccabee releasing Look at Me Now, and Brian D. Palms releasing Sisters, and Francis Ford's Conversation. Come quickly, we are nearing our journey's end. Here we come to our next date, the 1980s. This era was Brian D. Palmer's greatest achievements, such as Dress to Kill and Body Double. Here we come to our next date, the 1990s. This is when Rob Reiner made his film Misery, as well as Joseph Rubin made his film Sleeping with the Enemy. Other directors include Jonathan Demme with his famous film Silence of the Lambs, and Curtis Hanson with his famous film The Hand That Rocked the Cradle, and David Fincher's Seven. Here we come to our last date, the 2000s. This is where directors such as Michael Walker made Chasing Sleep, Stephen Kay's Getting Carter, and Tara Singh's The Cell. We have now finished our journey through time. Now let me lead you to the future. Follow me.